In the heart of the 16th century, the Ottoman Empire stood as one of the greatest powers on earth. Its banners fluttered across 3 continents. Its ruler, Suleiman the Magnificent, was the mightiest monarch of his age. But even in an empire built on power and faith, loyalty had its limits. And few stories remind us of that truth more than the tragic tale of Pargali Ibrahim Pasha, the slave who became a Grand Vezier and paid the ultimate price for his rise. This is the story of friendship, ambition, and betrayal, a story that defined the golden age of the Ottoman Empire. Around the year 1493, in the coastal town of Parga on the Ionian Sea, then part of the Venetian territories, a boy was born who would one day shake the foundations of the Ottoman court. His name was Ibrahim, the son of a humble Greek or Albanian fisherman, depending on which chronicler you believe. But fate, as it often does, intervened. Ibrahim was captured by Ottoman soldiers, perhaps during a raid, and sold as a slave. He was taken to Manisa in western Anatolia, a provincial city where young princes of the Ottoman dynasty were trained to rule. There, destiny placed him in the path of a young prince named Suleiman. In Manisa, Prince Suleiman, intelligent, curious, and destined for greatness, was drawn to the young slave's intellect and charm. Ibrahim, fluent in multiple languages, well-versed in music and literature, became not just a servant, but a companion, a confidant, perhaps even a brother. The bond they formed would endure for years to come. When Suleiman ascended to the throne in 1520, at the age of 26, he took Ibrahim with him to Istanbul, to the magnificent Topkapı Palace, the center of imperial power. Ibrahim Pasha's rise was nothing short of meteoric. In just a few years, the former slave was elevated to the highest office in the empire, Grand Vezier, the Sultan's right hand. He commanded armies, negotiated with kings, and governed the empire when Suleiman was away at war. He was known as Pargali Ibrahim Pasha, Ibrahim the Favorite. Under his leadership, the Ottoman Empire expanded deep into Europe. In 1526, he masterminded the Battle of Mohacs, where the Ottomans crushed the Hungarian army, a victory that echoed across the continent. 2 years later, he led diplomatic missions to Venice and Habsburg Vienna, showcasing his unmatched skill in statecraft. But his success came at a cost, and that cost was envy. Ibrahim Pasha's power seemed limitless. He married Hatice Sultan, the sister of Sultan Suleiman, a rare honor for a non-royal. His palace, known as the Ibrahim Pasha Palace, was second only to the Sultan's own in splendor. He even adopted the title Saraşker Sultan, or Sultan of the Army, a move that unsettled many at court. For while Ibrahim saw himself as serving Suleiman's glory, others whispered that he had grown too proud, too close to the throne. Among those who began to turn against him was Hürrem Sultan, better known in the West as Roxolana, Suleiman's powerful and politically astute consort. She saw in Ibrahim not a loyal servant, but a dangerous rival. In the silent courtyards of Topkapı, where even the walls had ears, rumors began to grow. Ibrahim Pasha was accused of arrogance, of placing his own name beside the Sultan's on decrees, of accepting gifts meant only for royalty, of ruling the empire as though it were his own. And while the Sultan had once called him my brother, time and the poison of intrigue began to erode that bond. Hürrem Sultan, skilled in the art of court politics, whispered her warnings into Suleiman's ear. She spoke of loyalty, of danger, of betrayal, and slowly the seed of doubt began to grow. It was March 15th, 1536. Ibrahim Pasha was summoned to dine with the Sultan, a familiar and friendly invitation. As the night deepened, Suleiman dismissed his servants. The two men, once as close as brothers, were left alone. What passed between them that night is lost to history. But before the dawn, the Grand Vezier was dead, strangled by the Sultan's guards, the bastinado of imperial justice. His body was quietly buried outside the city walls, his name erased from the imperial records. He was no longer Pargali Ibrahim Pasha, the favorite. He became Pargali Ibrahim Pasha, the executed. Suleiman the Magnificent never spoke publicly of Ibrahim again. But those who knew him said the Sultan was never the same after that night. For Ibrahim was not merely his vizier, he had been his closest friend. Some historians believe Suleiman regretted the execution for the rest of his life. Yet the empire marched on. Under Suleiman's reign, the Ottomans reached their zenith, stretching from Budapest to Baghdad, from Algiers to Mecca. But behind the glory, there lingered the ghost of a man who had helped build it all, and who had been destroyed by the very power he once served. Today, nearly 5 centuries later, the name Pargali Ibrahim Pasha still echoes through the corridors of history. In Istanbul, his magnificent palace, now the Turkish and Islamic Arts Museum, stands as a silent monument to his ambition and brilliance. His story has been told in poems, operas, and television dramas, from Ottoman chronicles to modern series like Magnificent Century. But beneath the legend lies a timeless truth, a reminder that in the courts of kings, favor is fleeting, and power is never truly one's own. Ibrahim Pasha's life is more than a tale of rise and fall. It is the story of a man who rose from slavery to shape an empire, and whose fate reveals the fragile balance between friendship and authority, loyalty and ambition. In the grand tapestry of the Ottoman Empire, of sultans, wars, and wonders, few figures stand out as vividly as Pargali Ibrahim Pasha, a visionary statesman, a soldier, a diplomat, and perhaps most of all, a tragic friend.